Your body's not going to have reproductive hormones, and if your stress response is through the roof. Burnout does not come from doing too much.
I feel I've achieved more in the back end of 2025 in those 6 months than I had in the previous 2 years.
Women come to me worrying that by working on their nervous system means they lose their drive, and it's the opposite. You can be ticking all those boxes and fighting against the fact you actually need to slow down.
You can come from a place of fear, or you can come from a place of excitement.
Power is in the pause. When I say health, nervous system is your fucking health.
Okay guys, amazing episode coming your way. I just know this. I'm really excited for today's Unfuck Your Flow and Take Action podcast because we have a special guest with us, Nikki, who I'm going to be introducing to you in a second. But if this is the first time that you have landed on this podcast, welcome. This is the podcast for ambitious business women who want to create a life and a business with freedom, flexibility and flow. Probably the rumination, the overwhelm, shiny object syndrome, burnout or any of that crap that often comes with it. If I have not had the pleasure yet of meeting you, my name is Alice Dartnell and I'm a time and energy management coach, speaker and author. So in the hot seat with me today, we have Nikki. Nikki, welcome my love. Thank you so much for being on this podcast. I'm really excited for this conversation today.
So am I. Thank you so much for having me here.
Oh, amazing. If you not have met Nikki before, obviously I'm going to link show notes, go give her a little stalk, go say hello and stuff. But if you haven't met Nikki before, you are just like a bundle of energy and like vibrant and joy and like, do you know what I mean? I love it. I love talking to you. I love seeing your stuff on Instagram as well. And also, you know, you are going to be a speaker at my Big Business Breakthrough event as well, which I am so excited for. By the time you listen to this podcast, guys, we will have had the event. So hopefully as well, you'd now be able to look on our Instagrams and like, you know, get a bit of FOMO if you was not there. But yeah, Nikki, welcome. So before we get dived in, that's not English, but you know what I mean. Before we dive into the juiciness of today, let's just do a quick intro. So if you just tell people who you are and what you do.
So I'm Nikki Antonaccio, big long Italian surname. Nobody ever gets it right, so don't worry about that. My brand on Instagram, you can search me as the Nutrition Psychology Coach. So what I am all about is I'm a women's trauma-informed health coach. People go, okay, what the fuck is that? So in other words, I help ambitious women, CEOs, female founders work on making sure that health becomes the foundation of everything in their business so that they don't abandon their self in the process of building impact, income and success. I have done that twice. I hit burnout, not just once, but 2 bloody times. So this has come from a place of not only education, qualifications and experience, it's come from, I've been through it twice and made the mistakes and didn't listen and did it again.
Oh, do you know what? That's what I really love about you, Nikki, is because it's very easy to get the qualifications, get the certificates, get like, you know, I've read every single book, but actually the fact that you've lived it and gone through it not only fuels your passion, but you also get it. And what I love as well, so please go check Nikki out on her socials, is you never judge. You never do it from a judgy perspective. You do it very much from a like, I get ya, like I've been there before. And actually, even yesterday, I posted something on my Instagram stories about feeling a little bit flat and being on my period. And this is new, TMI people, TMI. But I've only just started having periods because of my eating disorder when I was young. And Nikki, you are the only person that actually replied with tips. Everyone else replied with love. They were like, I have no tips for you. I'm just going to send you love because it happens to me. And it was really nice. It was real like, you know, women come together and it just made me feel better. But you actually gave me some tips and advice and sent me some diagrams and stuff like that. And I can't remember exactly what you said now as well. But you said it in a way where it's like, I understand you because that was me as well, and I love that about you, like the non-judgy, I've got you girl, because of that experience. So can you just touch on that lightly about like, you said, you know, you've been burnt out twice and stuff. What was that experience like for you?
Gosh, right, so how long have you got? Very similar to you as well. I struggled with eating disorders most of my life. So that was one of the first kind of things in terms of when I look at symptoms, that was one of my first symptoms. And I didn't realise this years ago. So my degree is in professional contemporary dance performance. As you do. Run away with the circus, right? As you do. So I went off and danced and performed and did all of this stuff that was very, very performative. You were turning up auditions, 400 people, you got to prove yourself to people you don't know. So my whole life had been this kind of like strive to prove to other people that your body aesthetically looks good enough and that your performance is good enough all the time. Throughout those years, eating disorders followed me. So I could be showing up looking like successful on the outside, but I was struggling with anorexia, I was struggling with binge eating disorder. After I stopped dancing, because I got a really nasty injury, ruptured my hamstring about probably 18 years ago. I'm showing my age now, it's a long time ago, right? Shh, Botox is good. Grade 2 rupture on my hamstring, so it's pretty severe. Like it was one stage away from having to have surgical reattachment. So what happened during that period of time, a lot of my identity had to shift. I put a lot of weight on because I couldn't dance anymore. I had to change career. I retrained as a personal trainer and a nutritionist. I was still struggling with eating disorders at that time. And then I got back into things after rehabilitation and started doing amateur bodybuilding. So it was another step into, oh, here's performance. Let's see if a load of strangers can say you're good enough in sparkly pants on stage, right?
Yeah.
Ultimately following this like performative output, other people telling me if I'm good enough constantly. At one point during that journey, I also started my business at the same time. So, right, cool, let's start my business. Let's go into that side of things too. I had physical burnout from bodybuilding and eating disorders. So like you, I lost my period. I had what you call period amenorrhea for over 8 years. So my whole body was just shut down from a stress perspective. It wasn't even that I was underweight. So there's quite a common misconception that losing your period is because you're underweight. It's not just from not having enough body fat.
Yeah, that's so true, because obviously I've only just started having my periods at 39, but I'm no bigger than I was, say, 2 years ago. I don't think it's got anything to do with the body fat. And actually, even at the height of my eating disorder, no one knew that I had an eating disorder, so I clearly wasn't that skinny. Yeah.
So when you start getting into understanding the deeper layers of this, the body dysmorphia I struggled with, the eating disorders, the overworking, the stress response, you get down to the layers of it, they're all just symptoms of what's going on the surface, the period amenorrhea, everything. You get right down to the root cause, you start looking at stress response in your nervous system. Yeah. Your body's not going to have reproductive hormones and if your stress response is through the roof. So like yourself, you wouldn't have looked at me and said she's got anorexia or binge eating. You'd have gone, she's normal. And part of that's what wrapped up in the shame of just carrying on, because for me then it was like, well, no one can see it, so I can keep doing it.
Yeah.
Nobody knows about it.
Or admit it as well. Like for me it was like I can't really admit it because there doesn't seem to be anything wrong with me.
There was a big load of shame wrapped up in it, because I was like, it's not bad enough to need help because it didn't look bad enough. If that makes sense, right? Yeah. Oh, it was looking at my behaviours now, it occupied every waking, breathing second of my headspace and time. I couldn't go on and take trips or holidays away from my business or work without obsessing and fixating over, could I run every morning if I couldn't go to a gym? Could I limit how much food I ate? And literally thinking about food if I wasn't eating food, and managing food if I wasn't thinking about it. It was 24/7.
Yeah.
Anybody that's been through or experienced eating disorders will know what that feels like. It just takes up so much room. But that was only a symptom of what was going on. So when I paused my business for a while and got a real job for a bit, as you do, right? And I went into high-end personal training sales. I was a sales manager for 5 boutique personal training gyms, a very high-end corporate boutique, high-pressure sales role. That was great for the stress response, wasn't it? Right? Fucking hell. Again, a lot of my worth was being tied up with my performance, whether that was physical and what people saw and judged me literally, putting myself in positions to be judged and told you're not good enough, or whether that was, well, your sales targets aren't good enough, you're not making the business enough money, what are you going to do about it? That it used to fill me with dread, babe. I'd have anxiety attacks and panic attacks every morning. You got to the point, my hair, it snapped 4 inches without me cutting it. I was getting allergic reactions, eczema and psoriasis all on my eyes, in my ears, And I thought it was going through perimenopause early.
Yeah.
Because I was like, oh, I've read all this stuff. Maybe my periods are stopping because of menopause. Maybe my hair's snapping because my estrogen's dropped. No, it wasn't any of that. It was fucking stress response and nervous system was done. So I hit burnout at the end of, it would have been at lockdown. So I was left in control of 500 memberships. The gym wasn't opening. As far as we were concerned, it was shut indefinitely. And my job was to ring 500 members every week and beg them to keep paying their membership without the gym open.
Yeah.
It was just ridiculous, right? Everybody struggled in COVID. I'm not saying I had it bad at all. I had a full-time paid management role. It was a horrible, stressful role to do, but there were people that lost so much more than I did. It gave me space, though, to restart the business and go, fuck this, I'm not doing this for someone else anymore. That was the first burnout. I sat on my kitchen floor in what is my now husband's kitchen, rocking backwards and forwards, crying because I couldn't cope with basic shit like putting the laundry on.
Yeah.
It, like, you know, if it tips you into like just overwhelming crying in emotion, just doing basic stuff, I was like, I can't do this anymore. So I stepped away from it all and stripped it all back and was shitting myself. People thought I was mental. The fitness industry was shut. My parents thought I was insane. They come from a generation of first generation Italian immigrants coming to the UK. You get a job, you stick at it for life, and you're grateful you've got an income.
Yeah,
right?
I resonate with that. Mum's Japanese, immigrant, dad's born and bred English, but working class, and it was like, work hard, go to uni, get a good job, because none of my family had gone to uni, so it was like a big deal. Go to uni, get a good job. But I am actually very fortunate that my dad also was like, oh, hang on a minute, I think like business might be better for you, so he was always very encouraging. But it is that generation, I think, for us of like, you know, my parents stayed in the same job for life, like both of them did.
So not like that for our generation. Yeah, my dad was of the thought. None of my family had been to uni. I was the one with the furthest, higher education out of everybody.
Yeah.
And his attitude was then, you get your job and you stick at it because you should be well paid because you've got a degree. As we all know, most of us don't fucking use our degrees, do we? Do you know what I mean? And so when I said to him, look, I'm going to leave a fully paid or furloughed job in lockdown, he was like, are you mad? What are you doing? And I was like, no, trust me, I got this. So there was this whole performative thing kicked in again. I had to make this thing freaking work to prove to my dad, to myself, I had no money, I had to pay a mortgage, it had to fucking work. So I jumped back into, right, actually, the whole fitness and wellness industry is closed. People don't have help or support with their mental health, their physical health or well-being. I'm going to give him that space and design an online coaching space for that and a community. And it went mental. I cannot be grateful enough. It took off. I kid you not, Alice, this would not work now. I put one post on Facebook saying, I need 10 people, that old chestnut, and I had 50.
Yeah.
50. It was nuts.
And everyone was online, wasn't they? Like, nobody could go out to the pub or whatever, or go to the gym. So it was like, everyone was online.
50 people straight away, I want to start, and I did it. I nailed it. I was doing it for very little money. I was coaching for £80 a month. And I was coaching people one-to-one. They were doing Zoom calls. It was ridiculous level of service for nothing, for pennies, right? Yeah. And that created another cycle of overworking, overcommitting, having no space, having no breathing room. And again, I got to about 2 years into doing that, and it's like my body just went, oh, you're done. Hair started snapping again. Hormones started playing up again. Weight gain started again. 3 stone on in as many months, and I hadn't changed how I was exercising or eating, hadn't changed what I was eating, hadn't changed what I was exercising, and gained 3 stone in 3 months. It was literally, again, I was like, oh my God, my body is shouting at me that I'm not taking care of myself. And not from like when I work with women, they can come to me and say, I'm doing everything right, I'm eating properly, I am trying to look after myself, I'm going to the gym, I'm exercising 6 days a week, and I have to go, whoa girl, stop. Let's look at your nervous system, let's look at your stress response, let's look at your hormones, because you can be ticking all those boxes and fighting against the fact you actually need to slow down, even though it sounds counterintuitive.
Yeah. Do you know what? I think that's a big thing that I have had to learn over the last few years, because, you know, just a quick summary of my last 5 years, obviously, like you say, lockdown, started a business, next day went into lockdown. Didn't know that was going to happen, obviously. Make or break, I can't go back to corporate because there are no fucking jobs. So I start the business in March, 13th of March, I think it was. We went into lockdown. So literally a few days later, a couple of months after that, my husband walked out on me. So it was like, fuck, like, this has got to work. And then obviously very stressful navigating COVID, a divorce, especially as I didn't know if he was coming back or not. So the first 6 months, it was like, he needed to go find himself. So it was like, is he coming back? Is he not? It's like, it was just state of fear all the time.
Yeah.
Then fast forward, go travelling, that was fun, but then, you know, you kind of back to reality. And then I went to Cambodia and got stuck there because of like health dramas, getting typhoid, family issues and stuff. And I look at that 5-year period and it was just constant, my body being in a state of fight or flight. And I've really had to work on my nervous system, because sometimes life and shit happens, doesn't it? So you can't stop that, but it is about then learning, okay, well, how do I navigate that and regulate it? And this whole nervous system thing is something I'm really understanding more and more. God, I think it's been an absolute game changer for me in the last couple of years. And I actually spoke quite openly about this because I was like, I feel I've achieved more in the back end of 2025 in those 6 months than I had in like the previous 2 years. And I was like, why? And I was like, because I'm starting to regulate my nervous system and I'm feeling safe and I'm now able to thrive. And I'm not saying I haven't had health issues or blips or whatever, I'm, you know, but the fact that, you know, my periods have started coming back, like I actually have hair.
Yeah.
You know, my skin probably looks the best that it's ever been, even though I'm pushing 40. Like, you know, and now I'm like, oh, hang on a minute. I think there might be a bit of a correlation here. Nervous system.
Like what you've said that is so important, and I have a lot of women come to me worrying that by working on their nervous system, being more regulated and calm means they lose their drive and ambition. Bollocks. It's the opposite. So like you've just said, when you're living in constant chase, fight, thrive, scarcity, I've got to survive, it might feel productive because you feel busy and you've got this sensation you've got used to in your body, which is literally, you're running on adrenaline, right? That will feel very familiar. So part of what I do, I'm a somatic trauma-informed coach and therapist, which basically means I work with people's bodies, emotions and sensations to unfuck the patterns they get stuck in so that they can actually thrive, right?
Yeah.
If you're used to being in like go, 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 thrive, like stress, all this kind of chaos mode to live and survive and run your business, which a lot of bro marketing suggests.
Yes.
More, 10x it. Fuck off, Grant Cardone. Right? Anyway, that's enough topic for another day. But if you're living in that state, you can often think, shit, if she's telling me I need to regulate my nervous system and get zen and calm, I'm going to slow down, I'm going to lose my edge, I'm going to lose my drive. No, it's the opposite. It's when you get clarity, when you give yourself space to breathe and be creative and not wake up running around like your hair's on fire every day, you are so much more impactful and successful. This is the bit I'm so passionate about. When I say health, nervous system is your fucking health. Because without it, nothing else in your system works. It affects your thyroid, it affects your hormones, it affects your mental health, it affects your physical well-being, and it affects your business.
Yeah. Yeah, so true. And I think for me, there's two main things about this nervous system and this health thing. Is you can come from a place of fear or you can come from a place of excitement, and you can take exactly the same action, do the same number of sales calls, do the same number of posts or whatever, but how is it showing up? How is it feeling, and how are you executing it? Because the actions and the hours could be the same. And this is why I'm so big that time management isn't about time, because you could do 2 hours on X and feel, oh, well, look, I've been productive because I've got 2 hours and I'm time blocking and blah. But is that coming from that place of fear? And I think from when I look back now at certain elements like, you know, the lockdown and stuff like that, like there was definitely fear driving it. And did I get it done? Yes. Yeah. Started a business. Here we are 5 years later.
Did it feel really hard and shit and heavy and stressful?
Exactly. Yeah. Whereas now, business feels fun. It feels lighter. Even yesterday, you know, as you know, like I was like, oh, I feel a little bit flat. I mean, like you're like, yes, that's just a period, it's your hormones, don't worry, kind of thing. And I still had a productive day. I just was really slow about it. And me and my friend went for a walk, and you know, I just and again, it's for me, it's not time. It's not time. It's energy
management, isn't it?
Because yeah, like I didn't. Could I have pushed harder yesterday? Yeah, of course I could. Like we all can.
Do you need to?
Exactly. Would it have fucked me over? And actually,
would it then fuck you over 2 days later? Like, you and I have both got ADHD. Like, I can push through anything.
Yeah.
Right? I can sit there and probably do, and any other ADHD girlies that are listening, I can probably do a month's worth of work in 4 hours. But if I do, I'm fucking useless for 4 weeks.
Yeah.
No, absolutely not.
And again, and it's for me, it's the whole like nervous system thing, because obviously I've got a train trip today from Warrington to London. You know, travel sometimes can be stressful for us ADHD girlies. And then I've got dinner with friends. I'm so excited. I haven't seen her for ages, but I also know that's going to drain me because it's the overstimulation. Then I'm staying at my aunt's. Got an early start tomorrow with an event. 200 people. Yeah, 200 people at this event. Fuck, that's going to be a drain. I've got plans Friday night. You know what I mean? Like, hang on a minute. Yeah, I could theoretically, like you say, crack on, but I also know that probably not best. And like actually yesterday, I went for my walks. I ate a little bit more than maybe I normally would. I didn't get up early today to do a workout. I was like, today can be a rest day. We're all good. And I just feel like my nervous system is so much more regulated.
In you for it.
Yeah, than it would have been 6 months ago when I just push all the time.
Little tidbit for, again, any neurodivergent people that are listening. We run at a higher vagal tone than your average person. So your vagus nerve is a massive long nerve that runs through every single major organ in your body. It starts in your middle ear and your left ear, and it travels all the way through your face, your thyroid, your adrenal gland, your heart, your lung, even right down to your digestion. Side note, that's why when you get stressed, you get bloated. Not food. 99% of the time, it's stress. So we run, if you're neurodivergent, that vagus nerve runs at a higher tone than your average person. So you are more susceptible to more overstimulation, emotional dysregulation, rejection sensitivity. If you've got a lot of travel and moving parts, you are sensitive to getting more exhausted than your average person. So you have to take that into consideration. Like, a big part of the work I do. So I've got a framework that's called Whole Health Mastery, and it works on 3 sections of what whole health is, because I don't think you can just look at one piece. Not when you're working with a female founder or a business owner. You've got to look at all of it, right? Yes, what they eat and how they eat and the food quality affects their performance and how they show up in their life and their business and their body confidence at the end of the day. Everything nowadays is about visibility, getting on stages, speaking in front of people, and if you haven't got the confidence to do it, you're going to feel shit, right? Empowered nutrition is a massive part of it. The second pillar of it is something I call the strength system. I know now, or we should at least, even if I'm still banging on about it, that lean muscle tissue and strength is absolutely vital for women, full stop. So like lifting weights for fun, to lift heavy things, put them down again, is absolutely vital to regulate your hormones. Muscle is an endocrine organ. It dictates so many things more than just what you look like. It affects your blood sugar. So how, again, if your blood sugar is dysregulated, you're either going to feel flat as fuck or angry and intolerant. Regulated blood sugar to perform at our best, right? So you've got empowered nutrition over here, how you fuel yourself and how that helps you show up in all areas. You've got strength system that helps you with your hormones, your body, your strength, your resilience and your recovery. And then sitting on top of all of it is what I call the nervous system reset. So then you've got how your nervous system affects things like overworking behaviours, self-sabotage, wine every evening when you say you don't want it, not having the food you say you want to, and all the patterns that you get stuck, not showing up, not being visible. All those 3 bits, when they come together, the nutrition, the strength and the nervous system, that's what creates whole health for a business owner. So you don't just diet your way into oblivion and eating disorders, or over-exercise and train and don't think about the effect on anything else, or try and meditate and regulate yourself and do nothing. It's all got to come together.
Yeah. And I think it's very easy to go to extremes, isn't it? Especially as business owners, because we get a little bit passionate. Otherwise, we wouldn't have started the thing we started, right? And I have definitely seen that in myself and in others, where it's, I'm working such long hours, building my dreams, 12-hour days. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I have to pull a 12-hour day.
Sometimes you've got to pull your sleeves up and get on with it.
Exactly. But I don't want to do it to the detriment of my health. So I know Mondays are my cray-cray day. It is the day where, from a time management perspective, let's wake up and they like, let's go tackle the week. And so I am literally bombarded with stuff on a Monday, and that's okay. I know that. So I meal prep on a Sunday. I probably won't get to the gym on a Monday because I don't want to sacrifice sleep to do it, and I've got to be working probably 8 a.m. to 8 p.m. And I've got all my snacks laid out ready, protein heavy, and I've not burnt out. Like, so it's, it's that kind of, I suppose, like looking after yourself, isn't it? So, and then, anyway, so I think people go, oh, I've got to work 12-hour days every day, and then they don't eat properly, or they go, I'll just get a takeaway.
Yes.
So they're either not eating, or they're eating shit,
Yeah.
or they're going, I ain't got time for meditation, I ain't got time for the gym. And it's kind of like, we've taken it to the extreme as
How are
business
you
owners.
ever going to show up and perform your best
Yeah.
when you're not eating, you're not taking basic care of basic
Yeah.
needs, right? You wouldn't do it to your children. You wouldn't do it to a toddler, not feed them or just feed them junk, not let them sleep and let them stressed and expect them to show up. You just wouldn't. But for some reason, as adult women, we do it to ourselves.
Yeah, yeah.
It's insane, but this is a pattern we get into because we think we have to sacrifice everything and to the detriment of our own well-being physically and psychologically to prove what to who.
Yeah, yeah. What do you think some of the symptoms are? So if anyone's listening to this and they're like resonating with what you're saying, what could be like some of the telltale? I think for you and me it was definitely hair, wasn't it? Because like if anyone's seen pictures of me now, I've got hair. But yeah, me and Nikki are like looking at each other right now. We're like, look at our hair.
Yeah.
And even my friend the other day was like, fuck me, your hair is long.
Yeah. I did say like, you've got so much hair. I'm like, yes, I have, thank you.
I know, it's like, I'm like, oh, like never fucking cutting it. But it might not be as obvious as that.
No.
Do you know what I mean? That is quite a severe, like,
Yeah.
I'm 39 and I've only just started having periods and having hair. Like, that's quite extreme. So what would be maybe some of the subtler things? Because let's be honest, you know, women building their dreams, passions, they're probably a mum as well, they're probably a sister, you know, I think as well for this, what I call the sandwich generation, where I don't have kids, but, you know, my friends are having kids, but they're also having to look after their elderly parents. There's a lot on our fucking plates.
A lot, innit?
So, what could be some of the, like, girls, look out for X, Y, and this? Yeah, what would they be?
So I'm going to also caveat this before I say it all.
Yeah.
Two things I want to caveat it with. Now it's a funny one, because I do more now than I did when I was burnt out.
Oh my God. Yes, and I actually, sorry, I'm like, yes, because my mum, bless her, was like, you're doing too much. Like, you've got two podcasts, right, you've got two podcasts, you've got your coaching business, you've got an events business, you're doing media work, you're doing stuff, and I was like, she's got a point, but I'm not burnt out.
No, so burnout does not come from doing too much. It comes out living out of alignment with your values, not having enough joy, and knowing when to slow down and regulate.
Yes.
It comes from working in a nervous system where it feels like you've got the accelerator on in a car and the brake at the same time.
Yeah.
Right? So just going to say that out loud now because I am doing way more fulfilled, energised and excited than I ever have been. So again, any woman that's listening to this thinking, but I don't want to do less, you don't have to. Okay?
And I'm exactly the same, and that's why it's not about the time. It's not about the time, but amen, Nikki. Amen!
Amen. And the second thing is, I'm going to list a load of stuff that a lot of you are going to go, is that menopause? Could be, right? So is it menopause? Is it burnout? Who fucking knows? But the nice thing is, and you can tell the difference, but what the nice thing is, and I do that with my clients, we figure out which parts of this is hormones, nervous system, or burnout, or actual endocrine changes from a perimenopause perspective. But the nice thing is, the solution, whether it's menopause or burnout, is the same fucking thing. So it doesn't matter, right? So, one of the telltale signs, red flag, no appetite in the morning. If you wake up and you're one of these ladies that says to me, oh, I've not had anything but coffee till about 2 o'clock, my internal coach system is going ding, ding, ding. Because I'm like, she's stressed as fuck, her cortisol is high, her hormones are dysregulated, she's got no appetite cues, bang. So if you're there thinking it's a flex that you don't eat till 2 o'clock, it's a red flag, right? So that's number one.
Yeah.
Number two is the opposite end of the day, tired but wired. So you are exhausted, dragging your ass through the day, having to live off 6, 7 or 9 coffees if you were me. 9. Who drinks 9 coffees? I'd have 4 before I even got out the door in the morning to go gym. If you are tired but wired and having to live off coffee to kind of like go, right, I've got clients this evening, right, I need another coffee. And then you lay in bed, excuse my cat's tail, then you lay in bed and you're like, I can't switch off. Or you're waking up at like 3 o'clock in the morning and not getting back to sleep because you're knackered, that's another sign that you can either be running on very high stress and cortisol, and or that your menopause hormones and stress hormones are fucking with your sleep. So, the red flag. Tired but wired in an evening is another red flag. Just generally speaking, if your appetite cues are all over the shop, that is a red flag. So like no hunger all day because you're either hyper fixated and in work mode, and then if you can't control your eating habits at like 8, 9 o'clock. So if you're then rummaging in the cupboards just for something sweet.
Yeah.
And it doesn't matter what it is, and you're not really hungry and you're not really concentrating or thinking or being mindful of what you eat, that tends to be a stress response where you're trying to regulate and soothe your nervous system with food.
Yeah.
Some of
I
these-
had a client like that, and obviously I'm not a nutritionist or anything like that, but I was like, babe, I'm noticing a pattern at 9 p.m. Like, you're doing it. And she was like, oh my God, I didn't even realise. And what it was is because she was go mode from the minute she woke up. Kids are now in bed. So then she's like, oh, I've got a moment to myself. What can I eat? Probably open up a bottle of wine as well. And it was so automated. And I was like, I don't think you're giving yourself enough breaks throughout the day. And if you could just have that little bit of you time in the afternoon, maybe 3 p.m, you probably wouldn't be needing this 9 p.m. rummage. And don't get me wrong, sometimes I do have a little snack because I might have to have an early dinner at 5 p.m. because of client calls. But, you know, but it's a mindful of like, you know, I'm going to have some yogurt and fruit, you know, and I've planned it in.
I eat dinner at 9:30. Like, there's nothing wrong with that. But it's more of that when it's somebody's nervous system is fight, flight all day, right? Go. No space to breathe, no transition time, no time to land between calls, clients, meetings, appointments, admin. 9 p.m. comes round, the kids go to bed, you shut your laptop. And what happens then is you actually start to feel the stress of the day. Because when you're doing it, you don't feel it. You're shut off, you're just doing. So as the day winds down and you start to feel, God, it's been stressful. What do we want to do? We want to numb it. We don't want to feel uncomfortable stuff. So we go and grab wine or chocolate, and then you do it mindlessly without even realising you're doing it to numb the stress. That's why we do it.
I think that's transition time is so important, and I never used to do it. And nowadays, when I say I'm back to back, I am, but I have actually allocated transition times. So it will be back to back, but I have allowed that transition time to get a snack or...
You're protecting the transition. So it is back to back. It's
included into that hour meeting time.
Yeah, it's back to back because without that, that is not you functioning basic foundational needs and showing up. It is back to back, but some of the basic needs, I need to be able to go to the toilet. I need to be able to get a drink. I need to be able to get up off my desk and go and get food. That is back to back. There is no way I am not protecting that. It has to be in there because without those bits, the rest of the day doesn't work.
Or like say you get to 9 p.m. and you go, Do you know what? And I think as well, and I hope people listening to this will see this as a bit of inspiration or like, oh, it can be done. Because I think sometimes when you're in the thick of it, you go, well, for my life, it can't be done because I've got this, and this. So obviously for context, I was house sitting and you'll be so proud of this, Nikki. I was house sitting in April, and then I always knew obviously the house was going to sell. There was going to become a point, but I didn't realise it was going to be so quick. And then suddenly it was like, the house is sold, you've got a week to move. And I was like, what? Now, to make that even more stressful, I wasn't in the house when I got the notice. So I was like, oh, how am I going to navigate moving a house that I'm not actually in? So I had to go back to the house, label everything, video call my dad to show him where the labels were and what stuff was, and just pray to God that my dad was going to like follow instruction, pack it all up and move it to my nan's properly. Meanwhile, I was on the road at different events, coming back and had to pre-plan what events I'm going to, where's my leaflets, where's my fucking tripod, where's my heels, you know, all that kind of jazz. And I jokingly said to my dad, I do not have time for a breakdown right now because it is so busy. I said, so I joked that when I got to my mate's house in Warrington, where I was going to be for a couple of weeks, and we all joked that it's the spa hotel anyway, because like everyone seems to come in when they need a bit of respite. So I said, when I get to Nat's, I fully intend to have a breakdown. And I even joked to Nat and said, and she went, oh man, she was like, you're allowed an afternoon. I'll allow you one afternoon of a breakdown. But you know what? I've been fine. And I've had no breakdown, no issues, no like, well, it hasn't suddenly hit me. And I think old Alice would have gone, oh, adrenaline, boom, 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 boom. And then suddenly it would have hit me. And I would have
just a train wreck, wouldn't it?
Yeah. And I've actually got to now, 13th of May today, and I've gone, I feel all right. Yeah.
Big difference. How you're fueling yourself, how you're taking care of your needs, making sure there's transition space even when your capacity, so what I'm seeing from you is your window of tolerance is bigger and your capacity is bigger. So think of yourself like a vessel. If your vessel's this big and your life requires it to be this big, you're going to feel overwhelmed, stressed and burnt out. But if you learn to build your capacity and make your container bigger to hold your big life, you don't hit burnout, you don't get ill, you don't feel stressed. And that was fucking extreme.
Yeah.
That's why, because your system can tolerate more because of your window of tolerance.
Yeah, I really like what you said there about your window of tolerance there, lovely, because again, this podcast is all about unfucking a flow and taking action, right? And taking action isn't necessarily do more, get up early. I haven't been getting up at fucking 5 a.m. Like, you know, I've still been meditating and going for walks and chilling and, you know, and you're so right, that window of tolerance, that is the connection to unfucking your flow and taking action and being able to hold more because your nervous system's regulated and you're looking after yourself and you're taking your protein in the morning and, you know, all that kind of good stuff.
That window of tolerance is the thing that lets you even think about having protein for breakfast when life is busy. Because logic leaves the fucking building when you're overwhelmed. Doesn't matter if you know you should have protein and not chocolate for breakfast. It doesn't fucking matter if you're overwhelmed, right? So the base of all of this, if you can build and stretch your window of tolerance through nervous system regulation, understanding the nervous system, vagus nerve toning, stress tolerance, cortisol management, and you can stretch that, then you have the headspace and capacity to say to me, I'm running a business, I'm doing an event, I'm moving house and I'm still eating my protein and drinking my water. If not, you'd be like, Nikki, I don't care about those things right now. Just give me a takeaway and let me just deal with what's in front of me.
Yeah, so true. Yeah, because actually even, because obviously I've got my community, the Business by Design community, that's been expanding as well. So I've been holding space for other people as well as trying to navigate all this. Yeah, no, so I really like that window.
That's the case of the health thing. So like, this is why I'm trying to redefine women's health and what it means. It's not just what you eat, what you do and your exercise. My God, is that important? But it's actually not deep enough. When we get underneath, well, why can't I do those things even though I know they're important for me to show up in my business? There might be a woman sat here listening to this going, and this was me, I know transition time is important, but I haven't got time for it. I don't have time to eat. I don't have time to go and get water. I literally haven't got space to go for a walk. I'm not saying this to patronise you or say I don't understand, because I was that person. Every single one of us, if we have the window of the tolerance and capacity in our nervous system, you can allow yourself those 5 minutes. You stop overbooking yourself and you force yourself to realise that that is the foundation everything else is built on, not the other way around.
Yeah. From a practical stance as well, the client that I mentioned earlier, I said, look, you've got an hour's meeting in your diary with a client or whatever. Does it have to be an hour?
Yeah,
could
it
even be 55 minutes, so you've got 5 minutes to pop down and get yourself a green tea with the antioxidants in it or whatever.
The thing that I speak to a lot of people about as well with the nervous system bit, it's about neuroplasticity, one of my favourite words.
Yeah, me too.
And boundaries, right? So I did not have the neuroplasticity in my nervous system. Flexibility to bend and flex, because I was in survival mode. Everything had to be rigid. It was either right or wrong. If it was an hour, no, Alice, it needs to be an hour. I've promised them an hour. My client didn't give a fuck. They wanted the results in 30 minutes, not 50. If I could give myself the neuroplasticity and flexibility to be able to say to somebody, honestly, Alice, I know we've got an hour later booked, lovely, but I'm gonna wrap it up in about 45 minutes. You're still gonna go X, Y, and Z, but I need a bit of transition time to get some water and get some food. No one argues.
Never. And it gives them permission as well, because I'll use this as an example. I got on a call the other day, and just as I went to get on this group call where I was delivering about how to speak on stages and to deliver high value training, something just jarred me as I got on the call. You know, you catches your eye and you're like, fuck, I didn't want to see that. And I was fucking fuming. ADHD rage was about to fucking kick in. And as I got on, I jokingly said to the ladies, I was very honest, I said, look, something has riled me up. I was like, has anyone ever had that when you've seen something that you didn't want to? And they were like, oh, yeah. Or like, that was my kids this morning, whatever. And I said, who fancies doing 30 seconds of breath work with me on this call right now, so I can reset my energy and give you the best, but you might want to do that as well. And all of them went, oh, yes, please, can I do that with you?
It gives people permission to be themselves.
We did just 30 seconds of breath work and they were like, oh, I feel so much better. And then we've
done that with clients and said to them, like, I'm going to wrap this up in about 45-50 minutes. I need to go for a wee and get some food. And they're like, oh, thank God you said that. I've booked myself back to back all day.
Yeah. Oh my God, this is all absolutely gold, Nikki, because it's just fucking practical. Do you know what I mean? You're not being like, so I just want you to go and meditate for 6 hours a day. Like, it's like just super practical things that we can do. And I think the big takeaway, if you
like one thing actual practical thing to go and do. If you're thinking, well, how the fuck do I
Yeah,
do
yeah, yeah.
tolerance? This sounds like a really weird, simple exercise, but that's the purpose of it. I do a thing with my one-to-one clients called sensation tracking. So this is about teaching your nervous system to understand what the sensations are telling you in your body, so you can listen to them earlier. So British miners used to take canaries down the mine shaft with them.
Oh God, I say about look out for your canaries.
Look
Yeah.
out for canaries, right? So
Yes.
the same concept. So I'll explain it for anybody who's listening who's not understood it or heard it before. British miners.
They're just like, what are these two girls banging on about canaries for?
What are we on about? They used to take canaries down the mine shafts with them, and if the air quality got really poor and the canaries stopped singing, it was their indicator they needed to get out, right?
Yeah.
Now you need to understand your canaries before you hit burnout, which is what I did not do, and there was red flags everywhere and I ignored the damn things, right? Yeah. So my canary was dead 10 times over.
We just ignored it.
So I'll give it a poke. It's a sensation, not as a symptom. So what I mean by that is if you find yourself picking and rummaging in the cupboards at 9 o'clock at night, yes, that can be a red flag, but it's probably going to be something even earlier than that in the day that you could recognise to stop that rummage happening. So tracking in your body what sensations, not emotions, sensations. So do I feel fizzy? Do I feel hot? Do my fingers feel tingly? Have I got a headache? Is my heart beating really fast? Am I salivating a lot? Do I feel like I need to go to the bathroom? Like those sensations in your body. Have I got butterflies in my stomach? Is my chest tight? Does my stomach feel heavy? If you can sit down for 2 freaking minutes with a timer on so you don't make it into a bigger deal than it is, because there'll be ladies that are high functioning going, I need to do an hour. No, 2 minutes, right? No. 2 minutes with a pen and paper somewhere in your day, more often than you don't, and treat it like you would your KPIs in your business. And you sit down and go, what sensations happened today? You might have weeks of, I don't know, fuck all. That is okay, because numbness is telling you something. Numbness is not nothing. Neutral is nothing. Numbness is feeling everything and not knowing how to process fuck all. So you end up in the cupboards or wine or chocolate or biscuits. If you do start noticing sensations, amazing, write them down. Because what this starts doing is build your literacy about the sensations somatically, bodily, that your body is telling you before you end up overworking or not sleeping or your hair snapping or your period stopping. 2 minutes, sensation tracking, make it a daily freaking habit.
Love that. I love that. Sensations, not symptoms. Yeah, oh my God. Babe, this has been such an incredible conversation. And I think for people who listen to this, business women in particular, I really hope they're taking away an important, powerful, key message. But the thing that I'm definitely taking away from this is, you know, we talk about your health is wealth and all that, but what does it actually mean? And I think for me, it's boiling down to nervous system and regulate yourself so that you can expand. You've got goals. You want more impact, more income, more visibility, help more people. You can only do that if your nervous system is regulated. You want to unfuck your flow and take action. You can only do that if your nervous system is regulated, not because you've got a fancy fucking Trello board and a colour-coded calendar and you're getting up at 5 a.m. to do the fucking miracle morning. So, babe, could you leave us with just one powerful aha moment or golden nugget that, you know, this has been such a powerful conversation, but if there was only one thing that she could take away from it, what would you want her to take?
Power is in the pause. When you stop and slow down and land and transition, that you are your most powerful.
I love that. Babe, I could talk to you for hours. Like, I love everything you're about. I love everything that you're doing. I love everything that you're doing to help people. I'm big on turning pain into power, which is exactly what you're doing, and just helping millions of women out there. Where can we go find you? How can we go work with you? Obviously, we're going to link all this in the show notes, guys, so don't worry. But tell us, where can we find you? What can we do?
I hang out most on Instagram. So if you actually want to chat to me, and I will voice note and chew your ear off, pop me a DM in Instagram and I will end up being like, oh, do this! Like I did Vanish yesterday with her periods, right? I'm on Facebook, I'm on LinkedIn, I've got a website, but if you want to actually chat to me, I hang out a lot on Instagram.
Amazing. And what if people want to come work with you? you've got like one-to-ones, you've got
Yeah,
your
so
programs.
I work one-to-one with ladies. I have a high performance health mastermind that is specifically to work with women around the topics that we've spoken about today. And I also have a signature coaching program, which is called Best Version Yet. And that's for coaching ambitious women to achieve sustainable weight loss without dieting. So it depends where you are in your journey, what your main focus is around your health, depends on how I work with someone.
Seriously, go check her out. Babe, thank you so much for being here. I think this is such a powerful conversation. Just keep doing what you're doing, being fabulous. Yeah, guys, if this has resonated with you and this episode has hit home, please give it a like, subscribe to the channel. Please share it with a friend as well. Like, us women should stop doing shit on our own. So please share this as well. My name is Alice Darnell. I'm a time and energy management coach, speaker and author. This has been Unfuck Your Flow and Take Action. Thank you so much for being here, and I will see you in the next episode.